So welcome everyone to the Finance Committee meeting of December 13th. It looks like we have a very light agenda other than, so for, first order of business is the fiscal year 23 budget. So this is where I perennially will turn to Sandy. Bless you, Sandy.
Thank you.
And ask, is there any new uploads or anything that we should be paying particular attention to at this time? Bless you again.
Bless you.
No, we have not received in any budgets yet, which is not unusual. They're
Right.
still getting their information together and should be sending in the budgets. We usually see them all come in like after Christmas.
Okay.
So that's not unusual.
Okay.
I did upload on the OneDrive that 10-year comparison. And I
Okay.
put down some information down on the bottom. You can see that the raise and appropriate increased over the last 10 years, much more than our combined local receipts, which is what caused our tax levy to have to increase so much.
So since we have new members, could you define those two terms for us so that people understand? Because those are two terms that will come up constantly as we discuss the budget soon. So
okay.
just draw a distinction, please, so that if any on the call are not familiar with them yet, we'll be able to get them familiar with
All
them.
right. So the first column is the raise and appropriate. That's everything that we vote for that's going to have to come out of the tax rate.
That's all the town meeting,
That's all
commentary.
that expenditure sheet.
Yep.
And then when we add in the union contracts, the resource officer for Silver Lake, that came out of raise and appropriate, and your reserve fund comes out of raise and appropriate. Then we have the tax levy. That's what we actually, that's the number we have to collect from the residents and businesses. That's what we have to get in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
The cherry sheet amount is the state aid, anything that we get in state aid. The estimated local receipts is, that's the figure. I usually will start sending you a comparison as to what we did last year in excise tax, ambulance billing, licenses and permits, fees, cemetery, library, police, fire, all of that goes towards, it goes into the general fund, and we use that. We estimate about what are we going to get, and we use that to take money out of, so that we don't have to tax as much. So that's the terms for what I've shown you here. So the combined cherry sheet and local receipts over 10 years increased by 123%. Or yeah, 23%. But the raise and appropriate, what we have to raise is actually increased by 34%.
Mm-hmm.
So the tax levy itself, what we have to get from the residents and businesses, has increased 38%, because we're not getting as much money from the state as we, and our local receipts, as we're not increasing that as much. And a lot of it is the state aid. It's just not going up as fast. And you can look at it. I put in the percentages there, and you can see that like the last 5 years, you can see it went up like 5% the first year, but then 2%, 2%, then none, and then 2%.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and what do we think for this year? Probably 2% at best this year.
I think, well, actually, I don't know. I can't say. Charlie was good at like following the sales tax and seeing how the state was doing on their sales tax, on collecting their sales tax. And then that would turn over to, if they were doing really well, we would see it higher in the state aid. But with inflation and with everything the way it's going, I'm just not sure how that's going to go this year. They haven't, of course, they haven't started estimating, and the governor's budget doesn't usually come out till about March.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we don't get a final on state aid until June or July.
Sure. Just
So-
before the meeting.
Yeah, right. So
But
we
just
never,
after.
we never really know exactly what we're going to get on state aid. We usually stick around either the last year's amount or the governor's budget when we're
Right.
estimating. So that's where we stand there.
Okay.
Hey, I'm in my meeting. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Chief, you're not on mute if you were wondering.
He
Oh, he is
just
now.
muted.
There he goes.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's one of the issues, is that we're just not getting that increase in revenues.
Right.
So,
Okay. Is it too early? I'm trying to, as last year, and Cheryl may remind me on this, or Sandy, but is it too early for us to make those initial calls to our constituent departments just to introduce ourselves, let them know that we're their
absolutely not.
liaisons this year. So now's the time, right? Yeah,
I
so-
would say absolutely reach out to your departments.
Yeah.
Let them know that you're their liaison. Sit down and go over the budget even before it gets submitted. You can go
Yeah.
over the,
I
where are they
recall we did
coming
that
from.
last year. Okay.
Right,
Mm.
right. That doesn't hurt
Okay.
at all.
All right, great.
So-
So if everyone would, I mean, that's kind of an assignment between now and year end, just to make a 5-minute call to your, to whoever you're liaising with, and set up some time. Those meetings are always super productive. I
Mhm.
went over to the town hall and just made the rounds and did a 30 minutes with everybody as they were putting their budgets together, and it was really helpful in understanding what they're doing. So I think everyone should know your assignments. If you don't, maybe Linda, you could send the liaison list out again, just so everybody has it at the top of their email stack. To be able to get that out of the way and make those initial contacts. Cheryl, you're second or third year doing your constituent set, so they know you well.
This will be my third year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for this will be my second, and for others their first. So probably good to get that
Right.
Right.
process underway.
Mhm.
Any comments after thinking? We had I think a good conversation last week about the budget and kind of where it's going, and I think it's premature to really try and dive in on any of it. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone had, if you weighed in on other thoughts about the budget and how we're messaging this, or how it's going to be received or acted on. Just any other thoughts coming out of last week's meeting?
Nothing on my end, nope.
Okay.
No, me either.
No.
All right. I think that moves us to public participation, if there's any.
Tom, if you get a second, can you vote to accept the minutes of?
Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't on the
29,
agenda. I'm
12,
very
6.
sorry. Yes, because you did distribute minutes. So if I could ask for a
11.
motion to accept the minutes of not last week, but the week prior's meeting. There were no minutes from last meeting, I presume.
Well, there are minutes. You just didn't take any votes. So there are minutes to be voted for 11/29 and 12/6.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that we had to vote last week's meeting because it was sort of an unofficial one. So
So moved.
Second.
thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay. Let me take a roll call vote. Michael Bennett,
Yes.
John Smalling,
Yes.
let's see, Todd Dargy.
Yes.
That's
Me.
everyone who is in attendance.
Cheryl.
Cheryl,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
I'm scrolling screen tonight, so it was, sorry. Okay. And myself, Tom Connolly, is a yes. So both minutes sets are accepted for last week in the prior meeting.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Linda.
If I could say something as far as public participation. Again, I know that times are tough. I know that the budget's going to be tight. I do want you to still consider your employees, because the employees are really, I still consider them the number one asset in the town. If we didn't have the people who we have in these positions, we wouldn't have made it through COVID as well as we did. And I believe that not just the unions, but also our wage and personnel people are very important to the town, and inflation is going crazy. So we might not be able to do as much as we'd like, but I'd like to see us try to at least give them something, because it's about holding on to the staff, holding on to the people who are doing the good job, so that showing them that, yeah, we do appreciate you, but not just that, but being able to keep them and not have them turn over so fast.
Yeah. Look, Sandy, I mean, I think, I don't know if I can speak for the entire group, but I think, you know, philosophically, everyone that I've spoken with is in complete agreement. We are, all of the data are showing that we are lagging. All the data that we've collected so far is showing that we're lagging behind all of the other communities that we've compared ourselves to. And we can't continue to let that happen and expect to have a workforce that's going to be of service to the community the way the one that we have right now is. So I think it has to, when these budgets come out, we have to be taking that into consideration, and we'll have good data to share with everyone. I think from the club survey that Linda's running and other analysis that we're doing, if we have to hire a consultant, we'll do it. I'm trying to avoid that expense so that we can spend it on something else. And I think what's coming through though is the pay scale data that we've run so far that I have not shared with the committee yet, and Linda's data, which has been shared, shows that we're below median on every job that we've looked at. So that's something that we've got to, with a couple of minor exceptions. Important jobs, I will say, that were current but are contract driven. But on jobs that are not contract driven, we're falling behind, and we just have to expect that these folks have options. They can go to other towns. We've had that experience recently, so we need to recognize that if we don't do this, people will vote with their feet, and we will not have a decent workforce. So thanks for bringing it up, and I think we agree. Let's see, anything else on public participation? No correspondence or transfers this week?
None this week.
Okay. So unless there are other comments, any other business? Okay, they will not all be this short. I promise you. We're saving you up.
Oh yeah.
So with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, and a roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
and myself, Tom Connolly. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next week for the last meeting before Christmas.
All righty.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good
Good
night.
night.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.